So enough about tuples. Now let's go to a different one, which is lists. Lists are basically the same as a tuple. It's nothing different in terms of like how to do everything, except maybe some small syntax. But you can actually change the variables. So you know how here when we did groceries 0 equals oranges, this doesn't work in a tuple, but in a list it works. So a list is the equivalent of an array in any other language you've done. Or actually, yeah, in Python there's another thing called arrays, but we don't get into that. It's different, but lists is like very similar to what you would call an array. So list equals to, let's call it like names, okay? And then to start a list, instead of these circle brackets for tuples, this is how you actually do a tuple. It's a circle bracket. But for arrays, it's just square brackets. And you can do my name and just a couple of people's name that I know. Okay. And so on. Yeah, you don't need more. So yeah. So this is a couple names I have, okay? So now this is a list of names. So I want to print these names, okay? List is the same as an array, yeah. You could say that, yeah. Names 0 to 3. So this, I said 0 to 3, it'll print this whole list. So see here. Let me comment this out so it doesn't print anymore. See how here it prints the whole list? So 0 to 3. I can even use the same thing here. Okay, copy it, 1 sec. I change this to names. Names. So see here, now if I add like another name, let me just add my co-lead's name. Yeah, so if I have these names, okay, I can print this and see here how first it prints 0 to 3, so these 3 names, but then if I do length, it actually prints to the end of the list. And then you can do stuff like this. Okay, so say I wanted to know what is the last value of this list. Okay, I can print that last value. So I say names of length of names -1. Why would we do this? So it's because this. So what is the length of names? If you look at it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 names in there. So that's names. That outputs 4. But in arrays, the index starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So actually, Prashant, the last name here is the third index in an array. So you gotta say this outputs 4, and you do -1 to get 3, and then in this square brackets you have names, and then this outputs 3. So names 3. And if I print that right now, see how it prints Prashant? This is the last value in the array. I have a question here. It says, why does 0 to 3 only print 3 names instead of 4? Oh, okay. So I'll tell you, it's because this, in this range, the start, it's including the start value, but not including the end value. So it goes up 0, 1, 2, but it doesn't go to 3. That's how it is, yeah. So it's 0, 1 to 2. If we put 10 here, it'll only go to 9. So when you do this colon range, for the range, this is not included, this last value. Up to, but not including. Okay, so another way to do this actually in Python is if you do this. Print names. Let me comment this so you don't get confused by this. If you don't want to do length and all that, you can just do, if you want to find the last value of the list, just put a -1 here. What -1 basically does is just goes to the last value and prints it. See how it prints Prashant? We commented this out, so it's not running anymore. This is now the one that's running. And -1 actually prints the last thing in the list. I wonder if -2 prints. Oh, it does. Oh, if you go negatives, it actually starts from the last the last index instead of first index. So you know how if I put 0 here, it'll be Mustafa, then 1 will be Jack, 2 will be Muhammad, so on. If I put -1, it's going to be Prashant, -2 is going to be this, -3 is going to be this, -4 is going to be this. That's another thing you could do in Python. It starts from the right instead of starting from the left. Let's see. Names to, okay, let me change this. So let me show you that lists can actually, you can change it, okay? So names of 2, okay? So what I want to do is I want to change Muhammad to a different name, okay? So I can say this is, okay? If I do this and I run and print it again, let me actually print it again. Oh. Okay. I'll print it here and print it here. So when I printed it the first time, Muhammad was in the list, right? But now after here, I said names 2 equals to Ahmed, which means I changed this name to a different name, okay? And it's at index 2, so 0, 1, 2. So Muhammad got replaced with this name. So now in my list, I have this, I have a new name in there instead of this name. So that's how lists can also change, but tuples can't. Okay. Oh, another thing you could do. Say you want to add to the list without like actually adding it yourself manually here. You want to do it in code, right? What you do is you do this. There's a function to add to the end of the list, and it's called .append. So I could say names .append. I could say Christopher, for example. Okay. So names.append Christopher. Okay. So now my new names list will have this at the end. So if I print this again, let me print it one more time after. See here, first it was just this, and then we changed the name to Ahmed, and then we said names.append Christopher. So now we have an extra name in our list for names. So it wasn't there before, but since we did .append, we got Christopher here. We added it to it. That's an easy way to add names. So the basic differences in syntax. Yes. Append means add to the end. Yes. So like you add a new thing to the end of the list. So starting from the end. Okay.